Apprentice's Revenge. I started working construction when I was 19. My boss was a carpenter named Greg who had been doing this for 30 years. On my second day, Greg came up to me while I was sweeping sawdust. He told me to check his spirit level. He squinted at it and said, "Damn it, the bubble's gone. It must have leaked out." He then sent me on the classic fool's errand. Run down to the hardware store and get me a replacement bubble. Make sure it's the right size. This is a 4-foot level, so you need a 4-feet bubble. Money with wings, the paid vacation. I recognized the smirk on his face, but I was new, and he was paying me $15 an hour. I realized he was a jerk, so I took the company truck keys and left. Greg probably thought I'd be back in 20 minutes. Embarrassed. Instead, I turned it into a paid vacation. Morning. I drove to a coffee shop and had a slow breakfast. Lunch. I hit up a burger place, took my sweet time eating a double cheeseburger and fries. Noon. I drove to a park and took a nap in the truck for an hour. Test tube, the fabrication. By the time I finally decided to create something, it was noon. I went to a hardware store and bought clear plastic tubing. $3. Then I went to a grocery store and bought blue food coloring. Back in the truck, I filled a small section of the tube with water, added the blue dye to make it look legit, and sealed both ends with electrical tape from the truck's toolbox. I had fabricated a self-install bubble. Rolling on the floor laughing, the grand reveal. I got back to the job site at almost 3 p.m., having burned 5.5 hours on the errand. Greg was standing by his truck, clearly annoyed. "Where the hell have you been?" he demanded. I walked up, holding the tube. "Got your bubble, boss?" I explained my solution. "The hardware store didn't have the exact bubble pre-installed, but I saved you a ton of money by getting you a self-install bubble instead. Here it is. You're going to have to install the bastard yourself, though." Greg stood there holding the tube of blue water. I could see him struggling to decide if I was serious. The other workers stopped and watched. Carlos, an older guy, started laughing first, and soon, everyone was cracking up except Greg. His face went red, but he fought back a smile. "Kid got you good, Greg?" Carlos choked out. Greg just opened his mouth, closed it, and shook his head. "Get out of here. See you tomorrow." I showed up the next day, half expecting to be fired. Instead, Greg just nodded at me and told me to help Carlos. He never said anything about the bubble again. The ultimate compliment came a week later when I overheard Greg talking to a new guy who asked about pranks. Greg warned him, "Don't even bother with the old tricks anymore. These kids are too smart now."